A young woman walks into one of the most expensive buildings in the city, holding an envelope that does not belong to her. She is not dressed like the people inside. She does not talk like them. She does not belong in that world, and everyone in that lobby makes sure she knows it. The billionaire who owns the building laughs at her. His staff laughs with him. Security almost throws her out. And then the door opens. And every single person in that room wishes they had treated her differently. This is the story of Claire Hutchins, a woman who did the right thing when she had every reason not to. And what happened because of it is the kind of thing that makes you believe the world still has some justice left in it. Claire was 26 years old, and she was having the kind of year that makes you question everything. She had lost her job as a junior graphic designer 8 months earlier when the small agency she worked for shut down. Without warning. No severance. No notice. Just an email on a Friday afternoon and a locked door on Monday morning. She had been sending out resumes every single week since then. Some interviews. No offers. The rejections started to feel like a second job. She was living in a one-bedroom apartment in a working-class neighborhood in Chicago, splitting the rent with her younger sister, surviving on freelance design jobs that paid just enough to keep the lights on. She did not complain about it much. That was just who Claire was. She put her head down and kept moving. Every morning, she took the same route to the public library to use the free Wi-Fi and work on her portfolio. Same bus, same stop, same walk down Meridian Avenue, past the glass towers where people in expensive suits moved, like they owned the air around them. On a Tuesday morning in November, that walk changed everything. She almost did not see it. She was walking fast, hood up, coffee in one hand, laptop bag on her shoulder. The wind was doing that Chicago thing where it comes from three directions at once and makes you want to move to another state. She was looking down at the sidewalk when her foot kicked something. A thick manila envelope. Sealed. No name on the outside. Just a logo, a small gold emblem she recognized immediately because it was on the side of the tallest building on that block. Hartwell Capital Group, one of the largest private investment firms in the Midwest, run by a man named Richard Hartwell, who had been on the cover of 3 different business magazines in the last year alone. Claire picked it up, looked around. Nobody nearby. She almost put it in her bag to drop at a mailbox later. Then she opened the flap just enough to see what was inside. She wished she had not looked, because now she knew. And now she had a choice to make. The envelope contained a certified bank check, made out to Hartwell Capital Group. The amount on that check was $140,000. $140,000. Sitting on a sidewalk, in the wind, Claire stood there for a long moment. Her rent was 3 weeks overdue. Her sister needed new glasses and had been putting it off for months. Claire's laptop, the one her entire freelance career depended on, had a cracked screen held together with tape. $140,000 would have solved every single problem in her life and then some. She stood there. She thought about it. She is honest enough to admit that. And then she put the envelope under her arm and walked toward the Hartwell building. The lobby of Hartwell Capital Group was the kind of place designed to make you feel small. Marble floors that reflected the ceiling. A reception desk that looked like it cost more than Claire's entire apartment building. Security guards in crisp uniforms standing at the entrance like they were guarding a foreign embassy. Claire walked in and immediately felt every eye adjust toward her. She was wearing jeans, worn white sneakers, and a gray jacket that had a small stain near the pocket she kept meaning to take to the dry cleaner. She did not look like she belonged. She knew it. They knew it. She walked to the front desk. The receptionist, a polished woman in her 30s, with the kind of expression that said she had been trained to be professionally dismissive, looked at Claire the way you look at something that just walked in from outside and tracked mud on the floor. "Can I help you?" she said. Not a question, a statement. "I found this outside on the sidewalk," Claire said. She placed the envelope on the desk. "It has your building's logo on it. I think it belongs to someone here." The receptionist looked at the envelope, looked at Claire. Then she picked it up like it might be a trick. "Where did you find this?" "About half a block south of your entrance. Just sitting on the sidewalk." The receptionist opened the envelope. Her expression shifted. She picked up her phone and made a call, turning slightly away and lowering her voice. Claire stood and waited. 2 minutes later, a side door opened and a man walked out. Richard Hartwell was 61 years old. And he looked exactly like what he was, a man who had spent for decades getting everything he wanted. Tall, silver-haired, suit that cost more than most people's monthly salary. He walked with the particular confidence of someone who had never once been told no and had stopped expecting it. He looked at the envelope. Then he looked at Claire. And then he laughed. Not a warm laugh. Not a relieved laugh. The kind of laugh that is a weapon. You found this, he said. On the street. Yes, sir. About half a block down. He turned to the receptionist. Check it. She nodded and moved to verify the contents. He turned back to Claire and crossed his arms. And you just brought it back. It's not mine, Claire said simply. He smiled the way people smile when they think they are dealing with someone naive. What do you want for it? Claire blinked. Nothing. I just wanted to return it. The smile got wider. He looked over at one of the security guards with an expression that said, "Can you believe this?" She wants nothing, he said, loud enough for everyone in the lobby to hear. She just walked in off the street to return $140,000 and she wants nothing. He said it like it was the funniest joke he had heard all year. A few people in the lobby smiled along. The receptionist gave a small, tight-lipped grin. One of the security guards let out a short breath that was almost a laugh. Claire felt her face get hot. She was not angry. She was something worse than angry. She was embarrassed for doing the right thing. I should go, she said. Wait, Hartwell said, holding up a hand, still smiling. I'm sorry. I don't meet many people like you. He said it in a tone that made it sound like a polite insult, like she was a curiosity, an amusing little thing from a world he did not have to think about. He reached into his jacket and pulled out his wallet. He took out two $50 bills and held them out to her. $100. For returning $140,000. For your trouble, he said. Claire looked at the money. She looked at him. She thought about her overdue rent and her sister's glasses and the cracked laptop screen. She did not take the money. That's okay, she said quietly. I didn't do it for a reward. She turned to leave. She had made it 3 steps toward the door when it opened. The man who walked in was in his late 50s, medium height, wearing a simple dark coat, nothing flashy, no entourage. He was carrying a phone to his ear and talking quietly. He stepped into the lobby and stopped when he saw the desk, when he saw the envelope in the receptionist's hands, when he saw Claire standing there. He ended the call. Is that the Meridian check? He said to the receptionist. She nodded, looking between him and Hartwell uncertainly. The man walked to the desk and picked up the envelope. He checked it, confirmed it, and exhaled like he had been holding his breath for hours. Then he turned to Claire. Did you find this? Yes, Claire said. Where? On the sidewalk. Outside. About half a block south. The man was quiet for a moment. Then he looked at Hartwell, who was still standing there with his arms crossed. And something passed between them, a recognition. And the smile faded from Hartwell's face for the first time. Richard, the man said. Do you know who this young woman is? Hartwell said nothing. This check, the man said, holding up the envelope, was being hand-delivered to me this morning by my assistant, who I just fired 30 minutes ago for losing it. This check is the final payment on a contract worth $47 million. He paused. My name is Gerald Ashby. I am the majority shareholder of Ashby Development. We have been negotiating a partnership with Hartwell Capital for the past 8 months. The lobby was very quiet now. Gerald Ashby turned to Claire. If this check had not been returned, if this payment had been reported missing or stolen, the contract would have been voided. The deal would have collapsed. He stopped. 8 months of work. $47 million. Gone. He looked at her the way a person looks at someone they actually see. Not a curiosity. Not someone from another world. A person. You saved something today that I cannot put a number on, he said. What is your name? Claire, she said. Claire Hutchins. What do you do, Claire? She hesitated only for a second. I'm a graphic designer. Freelance. I've been looking for full-time work for about 8 months. Gerald Ashby looked at her for a long moment. Then he took out a business card and held it out. Come to my office tomorrow morning at 9, he said. I want to talk to you. Claire showed up at 9. She brought her portfolio on her cracked laptop with the taped screen. Gerald Ashby's assistant ushered her into a conference room where she expected a short, polite conversation and maybe a referral. Instead, she found 3 people waiting for her. Gerald Ashby, his head of creative operations, and the director of their brand communications team. They had already looked her up. They had seen her work. The interview lasted 2 hours. She was offered a full-time senior designer position before she left the building. The salary was 4 times what she had made at her old job. But that is not even the part of this story I want you to think about. The part I want you to think about is the moment in that lobby, when Claire turned to leave, and she had the door in front of her, and she had been laughed at and offered $100 like she was a street performer, and she still had not taken it. She still walked out with her head up. That moment, that specific moment of choosing dignity over bitterness, is the thing that Gerald Ashby talked about when he later told this story publicly in an interview. He said he had never in his adult life seen someone handle being humiliated with that kind of quiet strength. He said he knew within 30 seconds of seeing her face that he wanted her on his team. He did not hire her because she found the check. He hired her because of who she was when nobody was giving her anything in return for it. According to a study from the University of Michigan, people who demonstrate honesty in high-stakes situations are rated significantly higher in trustworthiness, competence, and leadership potential by observers, even strangers. Honesty, it turns out, is not just a moral quality. It signals everything about a person's character at once. Claire did not know that study. She was not thinking about leadership potential or long-term strategy or networking. She was just a woman in a worn jacket with a stained pocket who picked something up off the ground and thought, that is not mine. For words, that is not mine. Richard Hartwell called Gerald Ashby the next day. He had heard about the hire. He said it was a nice gesture. Gerald told him it was not a gesture. It was a business decision. He said the best thing a company can do is find people whose instincts are right when nobody is watching. Hartwell did not have much to say after that. Claire worked at Ashby Development for 3 years. She was promoted twice. She now leads a creative team of 11 people. Her sister got her glasses. Claire got a new laptop. The apartment with the stained jacket and the overdue rent is a memory now. A story she tells new designers on her team. When they are having a hard week, she tells them, do the right thing even when it costs you something. Especially then, because you never know who is about to walk through the door.